Here we go with your Warcraft reminders for this week. Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and joining me live in the mornings on Twitch. There's a lot of catching up going on after the 10.2.7 patch released last week, plenty of hot fixes going around to ensure the game is functional. One of the unannounced changes from this patch was to make Battle for Azeroth raids soloable, and after a few more hot fixes, I can say with great confidence that it's open season for farming. The mechanics that want to make these fights impossible to do are no more. So, for example, Akunda no longer silences, Jaina will no longer freeze you, Mithrax's mind control is gone, you can walk the Gahoon beach balls over no problem, and as you can see with Mythic N'Zoth, nothing really happens outside of various mechanics trying and failing to kill or corrupt you. They're still health sponges though, so if you're doing speedruns, I suggest bringing a set of gear designed for damage, and be careful about accidentally vendoring it. This week is pretty stacked with events, so listen up. We're entering the 4th week of Season 4, meaning everything's open, including all the raids. We should be able to choose the kind of weekly quest that we want to complete, but I'm not so sure about where we'll be getting the veteran caches. Personally, I'm probably going to steer clear of the Season 1 version of this quest, because that's a lot of waiting around, while the other season's activities are on a pretty reliable schedule. It's also a bullion week, so we can buy our second piece of Awakened gear, third if you completed the Mythic Dungeon weekly quest. With all the raids open, one can start cherry-picking which bosses they still need to kill to complete the different raid metas this season. Clearing all the raids bosses on normal difficulty scores you a mount, heroic gives you a title, and mythic gives raid teleports. It's also Cataclysm time walking this week, including the Firelands raid. This is a very lucrative opportunity for alts to get some easy champion gear, even hero gear if you complete both the dungeon and raid versions of the time walking quest. The Pet Battle bonus event is in play, and this time it's the EU region that'll be able to take advantage of Super Squirt Day, Tuesday the 21st. Now if you're a real badass, you can farm up some pets from Pandaria in the hopes that they can be boosted and caged to sell. And over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes are Fortified and Afflicted, with Raging as the 10 and higher affix, so should be a push week. Afflicted is pretty cake, especially if you have an extra cleanse coming from the DPS or the tank, and the main issue is simply staying awake enough to notice when they spawn. Raging doesn't add too much, but at this level, certain mobs just become unmanageable, so you want to have a soothe handy for those special mobs, or I don't know, here's a grand idea, kill them faster. Okay, so you're mostly here for the Mists of Pandaria remix, right? Right, glad to have you. I'm not going to be able to answer every question that you have. In fact, I'm going to try to do that Wednesday when I interview Blizzard devs, and I'll have a video up later that day, so if you have any last minute questions, try to squeeze them in here. For now though, I'm going to talk at a high level, general information to know about the remix. It starts Thursday 10 AM Pacific globally, and it's available for anyone with a WoW subscription. Load the mainline, aka the Dragonflight client, and a pop-up will likely appear on your login screen that'll prompt you to make a time-running character on the server of your choice. You can make any class and character, even evokers, but you're still going to be limited to the 1 evoker per realm restriction. When you start, there's a brief intro to give some context as to why this remix is a thing, almost as if this is a canon event in Warcraft history. After a bit of questing, you'll receive the Cloak of Infinite Potential, and then you're shot off to, quite literally, the Mists of Pandaria expansion, with all the quests, and dungeons, and raids, and patch content, just about everything, minus a few features like professions and the auction house. This also unlocks a skip option for your future alts to save a few precious minutes of time. As you loot mobs and treasures, you'll literally pick up stats that go straight into this artifact cloak. Shortly after, you'll get an achievement that makes it so the stats on this cloak are shared across all of your time runners, so your main and alts will slowly amass tons of stats, including experience bonuses. Very basically, you're playing through a faster version of Mists of Pandaria. Rep gains are super increased, and mobs will fall over as you obtain lots of zany powers that you can slot into special gear that you'll collect. You'll also be collecting bronze, a currency that lets you buy pretty much all the rewards available from the event, and just about everything you do gets you more bronze. If this doesn't sound super clear, don't worry, little quest breadcrumbs will guide you through the new gear, the powers that you pick up, even direct you to where you spend your bronze. You'll be able to do dungeons and even raids while leveling, gaining bigger stat bonuses as you go until eventually, it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors and your low-level alts will be annihilating everything in sight. You'll enjoy other extras too. Your collection tab is accessible, as are your mounts, and dragon riding's available, even if you have no idea what that is. You'll be led towards obtaining dragon riding via quest. That's the gist of it, but allow me to give you some direction on how to collect most everything without losing your mind, and also best position yourself to level alts like crazy. My plan is to first focus on a single character whose objective is to complete the following major achievements here on screen that give special rewards that cannot be bought with bronze. This first character is going to do lots of questing for reputation, dungeons, scenarios, and raids in order to get these special rewards, and in the meantime lots of bronze, lots of stats that my time running alts can use later. By the time I complete these achievements, I'm definitely going to be level 70 with lots of gear and stats, which feels like the most efficient way to at least get started. From there, I'm going to assess how much more bronze I need to farm up, and it's probably going to be a lot. I'm going to look for the best balance between farming up both stats and bronze. So maybe it's doing raids or dungeons, maybe it's focusing on more of the other achievements that at least give you more of these bronze caches. Whatever the case though, doing max level content is what's going to give me more stats as opposed to like leveling my first level to 70 and then immediately switching to another character, level that, and then switch again, and so on. The bonuses that you get at low levels are just smaller. The idea in my head is that my first character is going to do all the heavy lifting with farming stats for the cloak, the rep grinding and questing and achievement hunting at max level, because that's likely to get me the biggest stat bonuses on the way. Then when I'm done, I'll switch to an alt who'll probably have a totally badass cloak that lets me like one-shot dungeons or something. I mean, maybe? I'm not quite so sure, but that's going to be the initial approach I'll take. It could be that the experience bonus has an upper cap, after which you might want to immediately switch to another character. And maybe you don't care about the transmog at all either and would rather just keep cycling through alts. Ultimately though, I'm going to improvise because we have a couple months to collect all this stuff anyway, and as more tips and tactics roll in and reveal themselves, I'll be letting you know in these weekly videos. A little bit on the alpha, we've now tested all 4 of the leveling zones and we'll probably have a week or so when we can experience the full flow, but stopping short of post-campaign quests, and based on what we saw last week, there's a lot that we might not end up testing, we'll just have to see. Without all the specs testable yet, and lots of missing features including zone activities and professions, I don't see beta starting this coming week and arguably not the next either. I don't mind being wrong though, of course, but you can keep tabs by following me here on the channel and on Twitch. I stream weekday mornings. Don't forget to like the video too, that always helps, and I'll see you when I see you. Let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
You start in town, get up all the weeklies, then you head down. Check and notice, but there aren't any. Do a circle around the aisles, helping dragons for a while. Do a hunt, cook soup and some bounties. Viewing for some dungeons, stopping invasions, helping the dragon nations. But in the end, you're just a gamer, you're just trying to get the big reputation. Big reputation. Ooh, you and me were farming big reputations. That's the thing we're really trying to do. I want some transmog too. Done.